Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Mob connections, loan sharks, and Noah's perilous secret? According to previews on The Young and the Restless, Sienna Bacall stated that 3 months ago, Noah Newman was in Los Angeles. Victor double-crossed Phyllis, assigned Jabot to a Newman. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Victor Newman will deceive Phyllis Summers and place a surprise Newman in command of Jabot. For that position, who does Victor have in mind? Victor Newman is targeting Jack Abbott. Victor has been seeing Jack Abbott for some time. Victor is exaggerating when he says that Jack nearly killed Nikki Newman. The Abbotts are banding together in an attempt to preserve their father's legacy, and it seems obvious that Victor will defeat Jack. Victor now has this AI program that Kane said could remove all Genoa City Company executives, and he intends to deploy it on Jabot to remove Jake from his position as CEO. Victor said he would let Phyllis take over Jabot. Victor made promises to Phyllis, but she should have known better than to believe them. Victor will deceive her nonetheless and give Jabot over to one of the Newman family. Phyllis Summers is not favorable to Victor Newman. When Phyllis chose to put her trust in Victor, she wasn't exactly being wise. Phyllis is aware that Victor likely despises only 2 individuals more than she does, and they are Jack and Billy Abbott. It will be a bit too late for Phyllis to realize that she should never have attempted to negotiate with Victor. Finding a Newman who doesn't mind Victor pursuing Jack will be his second challenge. Jabot would never be taken over by Nikki, Victoria Newman, Nick Newman, or Claire Newman. Adam Newman would also have a problem. Noah Newman has essentially left, and he might choose to create a new club rather than continue running Jabot. Victor Newman's only hope might be Noah Newman. Since none of the other new men will entertain the idea, it appears like Noah might be the only one Victor could coerce into taking over Jabot. Adam would not replace Jack because he is close to him. It is anticipated that Noah would return to Genoa City around Christmas. Regretfully, Noah might feel it's time to return to the family and forget about the nightclub scene following his injury. Claire might find herself torn between her cousin and her ex, while Noah might be named the next CEO of Jabot, causing him to have a disagreement with Kyle Abbott. According to spoilers, Phyllis will become enraged soon, and regrettably, it appears like Victor's treachery is probably the cause of this. There are 3 reasons why YNR Summer Newman might make a comeback for the November sweep. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, the drama in Genoa City is intensifying. It's difficult to avoid thinking that Nick Newman and Phyllis Summers' Supergirl would not be returning to the canvas as early as November sweeps because of all the turmoil surrounding Summer Newman's loved ones. Reason number 1, Kyle Abbott, I told you so. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Summer's prolonged stay in Milan may be due in part to the fact that her ex-boyfriend, Kyle Abbott, whom she still harbored affections for, was in love with Claire Newman, Haley Aaron. Summer could stand to see them flaunt their romance all over town, according to Phyllis. When Claire ended up sleeping with Holden Novak on Friday, October 31st, that romance finally ended. According to reports, Summer is now dating someone in Italy, but she could quickly return to comfort Kyle if she learns that he is not dating anybody, for the sole purpose of saying, I told you so. Reason number 2, the accident of Noah Newman. Will Summer, however, acknowledge that she is going back to GC for Kyle? Thanks to her older brother, Noah Newman, she might have the ideal justification to return. He was fighting for his life in LA after his vehicle accident, so she might go back to town to be with her brother. Although Noah's crash remains mysterious, Summer might return to be there for Noah and Nick now that it has been reported that Roger Howarth is playing Mitch Bacall, who may be the Matt Clark recast or someone who resembles Matt Clark, last played by Rick Hurst. Summer is the 3rd reason. The fact that Summer's name being brought up a lot is also difficult to ignore. Characters that leave the canvas are often mentioned sometimes, yet her name is mentioned nearly every week. There's a strong possibility that Summer may make a comeback for November sweeps, because name-dropping characters are never coincidental. Is this possible? Her comeback would have epic shock value. The trip back to Genoa City. When Noah Newman quietly reappears in Genoa City 3 months after disappearing into the sparkling turmoil of Los Angeles, it triggers a series of tensions, suspicions, and secrets that have been hidden. Sienna Bacall mentioned in passing that she had seen Noah in Los Angeles. Reveals more than just rumors. It opens a portal to the shadowy underworld that even the powerful Newman family finds difficult to keep under control. Once the golden child with a taste for nightclub glitz and artistic fire, Noah returns damaged, haunted, and oddly secretive about his absence. His mishap, which almost killed him, is the subject of whispers. It was officially a late-night collision on Mulholland Drive. Unofficially, Noah's employer during those months, the kind that doesn't forgive outstanding debts, had more to do with the accident than careless driving. There are rumors that Mitch Bacall, a man with suspected mob ties to West Coast loan sharks and a clandestine network based in Los Angeles, secretly funded Noah's club in London. Given Mitch's recent appearance in Genoa City, it is certain that Noah did not just leave that reality. He almost made it out alive. 2. The well-timed betrayal of Victor. Genoa City's patriarchal titan, Victor Newman, is honing his most recent plan in the meantime. Jack Abbott and Jabot Cosmetics are his target this time. He's never one to forget a slight or a business adversary. Victor's employment of a potent AI software that can internally destabilize competing businesses is the kind of daring, brutal innovation that only a Newman would undertake. Blinded by her desire for vengeance and ambition, Phyllis Summers joins Victor under the guise of a partnership. She thinks that by assisting Victor in overthrowing Jack, she will be able to become the next CEO of Jabot. However, Phyllis ought to have been more aware. Victor Newman creates puppets rather than allies. As the scheme is carried out, Victor's deceit is exposed. Rather from entrusting Jabot to Phyllis, he surreptitiously sets up a Newman to assume command. This is problematic, though, because none of his kids, not even Claire, Nick, Victoria, Nikki, or Adam, will touch Jabot. Theirs is a personal matter. In complex ways, the Abbotts are business allies, personal partners, and family friends. The only name Victor had nearly forgotten was Noah. 3. Noah's predicament. Noah's return is desperate rather than victorious. He is drowning in silent debt and is plagued by memories of dimly lit rooms with gaming tables, cigarette smoke, and gentlemen who deal in violence. In addition to being Noah's business partner, Mitch Bacall, who might or might not be a casting of the notoriously violent Matt Clark, was also his mentor, creditor, and eventual adversary. Noah's club in Los Angeles got out of hand. Noah was drawn into high-stakes games of chance that result in fraudulent contracts and bloodied hands because the glitz concealed depravity. The threats started when he was unable to repay his obligations. He almost died in an accident, but it was actually a warning. Noah attempts to pull everything together back in Genoa City. He attempts to blend in, remembers his family's expectations, and goes to his sister Summer's unoccupied apartment. But secrets never remain hidden in a place like Genoa City. Noah sees both redemption and damnation when Victor approaches him with an offer to take over Jabot in exchange for eradicating his financial problems. He is being offered more authority than he could ever imagine, but at a cost that might ruin what little ethics he still has. 4. Jack and Phyllis's ghosts. Enraged by Victor's treachery, Phyllis starts looking into Noah's background in an effort to reveal his weakness. She is shocked by what she finds. Links to Mitch Bacall, money laundering, and a paper trail that leads directly from Noah's club into shell corporations involved in the criminal underground in Los Angeles. Despite everything, Jack Abbott, who is still in shock from Victor's constant attacks, finds himself feeling sorry for Noah. Jack is familiar with the expression of a guy who has been cornered by his own errors. He has worn it numerous times. He is aware of Victor's deep-seated manipulation, though. The Abbott legacy may disintegrate if Noah takes over as CEO of Jabot, which will be under Victor's control. The previous alliance between Phyllis and Jack resurfaces, but this time it is more about mutual survival than passion. They conspire to reveal Victor's schemes and prevent Noah from suffering unintended consequences. However, Phyllis, being Phyllis, also sees leverage. She may retake her position in Genoa City's power struggle if she can manipulate Noah. The ultimatum of the loan shark. November approaches, and Mitch Bacall himself shows up in town. Mitch is calm, collected, and surprisingly endearing. He doesn't conceal his previous relationships. He is familiar with Phyllis and Victor, and he is adept at turning a Newman's weakness into an advantage. Late one night, he sneaks into Crimson Light's shadows to pay Noah a visit. Their conversation is silent and icy. "You believe that a debt that large can be avoided, child?" Mitch says. Noah responds, "I nearly lost my life over that debt." Nearly isn't sufficient. Noah has been given a clear ultimatum by the loan shark. Either gain access to Jabot's assets or pay with his life. Power is what Mitch desires more than money. Under Victor's influence, Jabot's research, secret formulations, and AI integration may fetch millions of dollars on the illicit market. Both his grandfather and his former creditor are now using Noah as a pawn in their game. 6. The return of Summer. Summer Newman flies back to Genoa City as word of Noah's tragedy spreads, supposedly to take care of her brother. Her motivations, however, are multifaceted. Her father, Nick, is too preoccupied with the internal strife at Newman to see what's going on. Her mother's machinations irritate her, and her breakup with Kyle Abbott still lingers. The approach of Summer evokes conflict and nostalgia. She notices something strange about Noah right away, including his paranoia, erratic outbursts of rage, and avoidance of family events. As she investigates further, she finds a burner phone, mysterious Mitch messages, and reminders for payments from an offshore account. She is devastated by the realization. Noah is drowning in his secret, not merely concealing it. Summer approaches him and begs him to tell Victor or Nick the truth, but Noah declines. He is aware of how his family functions. They take advantage of weakness rather than pardon it. Rather, he intensifies his deceit by agreeing to Victor's offer to take over Jabot in an attempt to buy himself some time to settle his obligations. However, the distinction between survival and loyalty becomes more hazy as the strain increases. 7. Victor's new pawn. Proud of his shrewdness, Victor appoints Noah as the next CEO of Jabot. The press portrays it as a daring move, with a new generation taking the lead and a Newman-turned innovator spearheading the future of tech integration and cosmetics. But behind the scenes, Noah is breaking. His serenity is weakened by the business meetings, the continuous media attention, and Mitch's covert threats. Victor observes, but he perceives it incorrectly as inexperience instead of fear. Victor sees this as the ideal chance to shape, control, and use his grandson as leverage against the Abbotts. But Phyllis sees right through the deception. She has a gut feeling that Noah is trapped, not merely anxious. She starts to piece together the relationship between Noah's accident and Mitch Bacall, connecting it to a wider scheme that may involve stolen AI technology. In her own perverse manner, Phyllis attempts to shield Noah, not out of altruism, but because doing so would also require defeating Victor. 8. Jack's story of redemption. Jack Abbott, on the other hand, is both incensed and oddly sympathetic to Noah. Jack gives Noah advice based on decades of business conflicts and personal errors when Noah confides in him, partially cautiously, about his problems in Los Angeles. He informs Noah that while having the Newman name may lead to opportunities, it also makes one a target. One of the most interesting themes in the narrative is Jack's subdued mentoring. Because of their improbable connection, Noah starts to wonder what legacy means. Will he be destined to replicate his family's destructive cycles of ambition and dishonesty? Can he forge an alternative route? Jack has complicated motivations of his own. He harbors the hope that mentoring Noah may help Jabot regain his integrity. Another portion aims to retaliate against Victor, not with force or retaliation, but with empathy which Victor can never comprehend. 9. The weapon of AI. A key danger is the enigmatic AI software Victor commissioned, which Kane had first created to control business systems. Noah learns that Mitch's group has already gained access to the software with the intention of using it for sabotage and extortion, as Victor is ready to use it against Jabot. Noah now has to decide whether to defend his grandfather's empire or reveal the whole plot, endangering the Newman name for all time. The AI is more than simply code. It is a weapon that can alter corporate control systems, erase digital records, and manipulate markets. Noah understands that he is aiding the very crooks he attempted to flee by taking part in Victor's scheme. The moral burden becomes too much to bear. Summer confronts him after learning of his scheme to use the AI data to escape Genoa City. The plot revolves around the emotional exchange between the two siblings, who are divided between fear, loyalty, and love. "Nathan, you can't keep running," Summer begs. "I'm not running," he murmurs. "I want this to stop before it ruins us all." The conflict. The culmination occurs during a gala for Jabot shareholders. Mitch Bacall lurks in the crowd, Phyllis rages in the shadows, and Victor attends triumphantly. Pale and shaking, Noah steps onto the stage to make a statement that also serves as a confession. He exposes Mitch's extortion, the AI's actual intent, and his own involvement. As decades of dishonesty explode into a public spectacle, the meeting devolves into anarchy, with Jack incensed, Victor incensed, and the press taking pictures. After a heated argument, Mitch is taken into custody, but his smirk indicates that there may be more hidden layers. Ever the opportunist, Phyllis manipulates the narrative to her benefit by giving the media a hint that she was the one who came out with the information. Summer supports her brother as he deals with the repercussions, while Jack protects Noah from the brunt of the backlash. 11. Redemption and fallout. Victor's dignity suffers the most in the aftermath, but his empire also takes a knock. He is upset because Noah openly deceived him, not because he betrayed him. However, he secretly recognizes himself in his grandson's rebellion, a Newman who resisted authority. In the meantime, Phyllis becomes notorious in some corporate circles, but is banned from others, perhaps more for his own conscience than the company's reputation. Jack starts rebuilding Jabot with an emphasis on ethics and openness. Noah, on the other hand, departs Genoa City once more, but with a purpose. He pays off his obligations, sells his interest in Jabot, and moves to a peaceful place apart from the clamor of family power struggles to start over. In order to establish future plot lines of rivalry and atonement, Summer remains behind and is committed to mending the Newman legacy from inside. 12. The last turn. A parcel shows up at Victor's workplace months after Genoa City has calmed down. A solitary flash drive and a message in Mitch Bacall's handwriting were found inside. "You didn't believe you had power over the AI, did you?" Victor's face, impassive yet blazing with rage, is shown as the camera moves to it. Noah's phone buzzes across town with an unidentified number and an encrypted message that says, "We're not done yet." The scene is set for a new chapter in The Young and the Restless that will combine familial treachery, digital warfare, and the never-ending conflict between morality and power. Conclusion: a shadowy legacy. More than just a straightforward soap opera plot. Noah's dangerous secret, mob ties and loan sharks, is a reflection on corruption, legacy, and atonement. It forces adored people to face their darkest sides by fusing the shady underbelly of organized crime with the high-stakes corporate world. One of the most nuanced Numenaires in recent memory, Noah is a man tormented by love, ambition, and remorse. In addition to altering his personal life, his perilous secret upends Genoa City's power structure, demonstrating once more that no one in the world of The Young and the Restless is ever completely innocent, regardless of how admirable or strong they may be.